Hello everyone, my name is Pooja Ranawat and I have secured rank 258 in this year's Civil Services examination. I have done my MA in Political Science and also qualified my NET JRF in Political Science. This video is specially to talk to you about Political Science as an optional. I scored 319 marks, the highest in Political Science this year, and I'd specially like to share my learning or my approach towards political science and how it can help you, or what are the tactics or strategies that you need to use to ace this exam with your optional. So in the beginning, political science as an optional should not be selected because it overlaps with GS. Rather, one must consider the points where your interest and your writing ability help you to put up good answers. So before you select an optional, it would be better advised to write some answers related to that subject and see if you're really able to understand. Political science as an optional has three important areas. The first being the concepts. Paper 1A deals with important political concepts and political ideologies. 1B deals with Indian government and the politics as well as the governance system. And paper 2 especially deals with international relations, with 2A specifically dealing with theory of international relations. So with this brief overview, let me go forward and tell you how you would be preparing notes once you begin studying for the optional. I personally felt that note making is very beneficial so that you are able to revise all the material before the exam. So one important question that crops up in our mind when we study for optional is, what are the sources that I use, or what are the book lists that I should follow? And we have n number of sources that we note down, that I have to do this particular concept from this book and this particular chapter from various other books. So the point is, do not worry a lot about the book list. See the syllabus, by heart the syllabus, and then start writing 7 to 8 important points about that concept in your notes. So your first step to making notes is to write that particular thinker, the ideas propounded by that particular thinker, what are the critiques of that thinker or that concept, what are the other criticisms mentioned about it, and which other book or which other source you can cite to make your answer better. So your notes for any particular topic should not cross the limit of 1 page. I think that much material is enough for you to revise and for you to put that up on paper in the actual exam. So the first point is, you know the syllabus by heart, each and every point, each and every word, what is its meaning, what is its origin, and what are the areas where they overlap or intersect. This particular concept intersects with which other area should be very clear in your mind. Next is, like I told you, prepare micro notes and make 4 separate folders. 1A, 1B, 2A and 2B. This will help you delineate all the material or all the information that you gather, and before the exam or before even any test, you will be able to better revise that area. So this is like, in small ways, you are focusing on small areas, small points, and you are improving your performance in those areas, and on a whole your entire performance improves in your optional papers. So start dealing separately with 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. Another reason why I am emphasizing so much on delineating 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, so that it is very clear in your mind how to apply the conceptual knowledge that you learn in paper 1A and 2A into paper 1B and 2B. Suppose you are learning about a particular thinker and his or her ideas of equality or justice in 1A. You can use all those concepts in 1B. That is giving difference in your answer, that makes your answer unique, and that shows that you have actually understood the concept. Again, the same thing for paper 2, the theory that you read in international relations. I think you can always find parallels in the current world scenario or in current global politics. So delineating particularly helps you to establish linkages, and then that reflects on your paper. The next point that you have to remember is to solve previous year's questions. So although I have emphasized this even in my earlier video, in optional it holds a totally different importance, because as you might have seen, many questions are repeated in some form or the other. The material for optional or the data or the content does not keep changing every year. So there are certain areas which are going to remain static, like the ideas of Aristotle, they are not going to change. So what you only need to do is understand his ideas in detail, see all the kind of questions that have come on that particular topic, and then you are prepared with that part. So my first suggestion to you would be, if you are starting to study optional, or even if you are studying for the upcoming mains exam, the best thing would be to approach all of this in a question answer format. You pick up the previous year's question papers, the question bank, take that question and write an answer. In this way, write an answer to almost or to the maximum number of questions you can within the question bank. After a point, you yourself will realize that there are many things or many points which are overlapping, and I could use this point in this particular concept and another point in another concept. So the point is, once you see the question in the exam, your mind will fire up and throw the introduction or conclusion, and you will be able to write the answer better. When we are studying for optional, if you only keep studying the notes and revising the notes and you are not in touch with questions, in the exam when you are faced with a question, you suddenly start thinking, now how do I start? And we spend a lot of time only in thinking, how do I start this answer, which will make it very different. So if you are studying in question answer format, your introductions, conclusions are predetermined, and it saves that much more time. Next, coming to the point where you do not know how to approach the answer. So here you can refer to toppers' answer booklets or their solved question papers, and rather than imitating them or totally copying their approach, I would suggest understand how they have structured the answer. For optional, one important thing is, many students, almost all of them, understand the content, know the content, but they are not able to put it up in a proper way. So here your presentation and structuring of the answer matters. So try seeing the toppers' answer booklets, try reading from different people, their different writing styles for a particular question, and see how you can make up your own style. So here you will understand what introductions they have put in, what conclusions, what are the points, and in the process you will also realize if you have missed out on some points. So looking at answer booklets is again important. Next comes the point, always cater your preparation to the need of exam rather than going for any kind of interesting reading. This is particularly a hazard with an optional like political science, where there is immense material available. Every day, every news piece that you have, you can look at it from a political science angle. So what happens is, in our daily life when we are reading newspapers or when we are reading any material, we start finding everything important for optional. If there is an election going on, electoral politics is a part of your syllabus. If there is any caste issue or religion issue going on, it suddenly occurs to you that caste, religion, ethnicity is a point in political science. If you are studying about any thinker, or you are studying about history and cultural research in our country, or changing of syllabus in NCERT textbooks, the various thinkers come to your mind. You have democracy, totalitarian systems. So my point is that political science permeates almost your entire world. So when you are studying, try restricting the material. Try not to take each and every article as an important element and note it down. Many a times what I have observed is, in a peer group, one of our friend would mention that today's article is by Pratap Bhanu Mehta. And because we know that he is an important thinker in political science, all of us would have the temptation that yes, we have to go and read this article. And then we make detailed notes about it, that one day I'll write it in my exam. But we do not realize that such articles would be coming weekly. So the point is not that you close your eyes to what new thinkers are talking about political science, but don't go in for reading which only takes your interest, which tempts you, and which is not adding incremental knowledge to your optional. Let your knowledge about your optional be breakthrough knowledge, one which differentiates your answer from others, and you are not caught in the circle of just thinkers appearing in Indian Express or The Hindu. So that was one part where you restrict your study to the need of the exam. Again, when you are preparing notes, do not leave any point. There might be some areas which you find vague, which you find that you do not have the material. So in that case, simply go to the toppers answer booklets. One or the other must have written an answer on that area. For me, my personal example, in one of the tests, I had a question on IPSA, and I did not know the specific work that IPSA does. I simply picked up a question paper, and the next thing was I saw the points that are written by 2-3 other students. I collated those points. I tried reading about it just for another 15-20 minutes, and that was it. This thing helps mainly 10 days before the exam, when you are you are in a phase where you want to do anything and everything just to crack your mains and score the best in optionals, and in a test you come across a question which you haven't studied before, and then you start questioning yourself that I have studied so much but I am still not able to answer this question. At that point of time, just calm down, go back to certain solution sets that are given to you, see the answer and be done with it. So do not waste time in thinking that why am I not able to see this answer, or why am I not able to attempt this answer despite studying so much. There is always going to be a question, or there will always be a concept which you might not be knowing directly. Again, coming to the next part, importance of revision. Once your notes are prepared in 4 separate folders, the only thing that you have to be doing after that is revising. Revise endlessly, revise again and again, and this revision should be divided into 2 parts. One, that you are reading the material again and again, and second, you are writing that same material again and again. The importance of writing can never be undermined. One, it makes you sharp, it makes you write precise answers, and third, you understand that whether your understanding is being reflected on paper or not. You understanding the concept is less important than you being able to put up that concept on paper, how you are presenting that answer. So another thing that you can remember while preparing for your exam is to clearly understand a concept in such simple words that you can explain it to your friend. That should be the level of your understanding. Even if you are observing events in daily life, try looking at them, or try finding examples which you can put up in your answer from your own experiences. Okay, so that is about revising. The last and important point that I feel is internalize those concepts. One is you revise, second is you write, third is you practice solving papers. But my own realization while writing the mains exam was that in that haste of completing the paper, in all that panic of remembering the points, in all of that, all the rote learning that you have done, it just fizzles off, and the only thing that remains is what you have understood very clearly. So when you are studying for your optional, remember to internalize and understand extremely clearly all the concepts, so that you will write, your mind automatically writes best that which it knows the best. So know your concepts, know your ideas, know the theories, the thinkers, the case studies, and that comes only by studying it out and out. So there are no hacks or tactics, it is just about revision. Prepare your material in such a way that there is not a lot to revise, but once that material is prepared, stay very committed and loyal to it, and prepare and revise it again and again. The point about applying the conceptual knowledge to the application areas like paper 1A to 1B, I have already mentioned. Coming to the point where things to remember in the actual exam. Now there are 2-3 points. First is your speed of writing. While you are preparing right from now for the upcoming mains, focus on your speed, and second, on how clearly and neatly you are writing your paper. Neatness plays a very important role in presentation of an answer. So remember that you are able to complete your paper. Second, your speed helps you to write neatly, and third, that you are selecting the right options. This is a very important but ignored point, where question 1 and 5 are compulsory. However, the other 3 are based on our own choice. So do not let the exam pressure or the time constraint make you select a wrong option at that time where you feel कि चलो अब यही लिख दिया, टाइम नहीं है, इतने सोचने के लिए वक्त नहीं है, तो ये ऑप्शन सेलेक्ट करके क्वेश्चन 2 और क्वेश्चन 5 लिख देते हैं. Give those 2 or 3 minutes to those questions and think which answer you can write best. Those 3 answers are the answers which will change your marks or which will act as swing areas in your answer. So I think that is important. And another important thing is, when you are faced with a question which you do not know or which you have not heard of, and you have to write, and it is compulsory for you to write that answer. So the best thing here is to develop a perspective where you think from a political science point of view. Now what do I mean by political science point of view? I'd say make certain concepts like justice, equality, liberty, rights, the governance, state, sovereignty, people. These are all the areas which political science deals with. So any question that is asked to you, remember these points and try framing your answer around these points. Okay. So I think this is the part where you develop a perspective of political science, and which will help you score really good marks in political science. For any additional details, you can also go down to my blog and read about it. For now, I think that's about it. Thank you.